My name is George Shear. I'm the collaborative director of Elsewhere, a living museum in Greensboro, North Carolina. We are a museum and a residency program set in a former thrift store that contains a vast collection of material cultural surplus as part of what was and is transitioning out of a sort of small antique district in the South Elm part of downtown Greensboro. And I'm an artist. And we put together a wonderful team. Dabney Sanders, who's the project manager at the Greenway, which is a 4-mile loop that is being built, transitioning certain large infrastructure streets that are dividers into green permeable passage, using public art to augment those spaces throughout and create communities at different parts of the Greenway. Working with Bob Powell, who is a community architect. He's a professor at A&T University in the architecture and engineering program, and he understands neighborhoods. And so his connection is seeing the traversal and the movement of the Greenway as this new defining space of downtown, and understanding the neighborhoods and the neighborhood process, community process necessary to connect with that space. And our third or fourth, I suppose, member of the team is Tom Fillion, who's the director of the United Arts Council in Greensboro. He's an advocate of the arts and is involved in the larger infrastructure efforts to build and connect arts in Greensboro and particularly in downtown. So this is a unique team. Our project was called Integral City, and the idea of the Integral City was to create connective tissues or to sort of link together the patchwork that is our downtown into a sort of a more connected space. The realization that we came to here, and we all came to it sort of immediately, was that the potential is there, the momentum is there. There's a lot of larger development and movement that is happening, the Greenway being a very large piece of development, but also private and public development, the potential for a performing arts center and a lot of conversation around that. So there are these large pieces in place, but at the same time there's a sense of siloing in Greensboro. So while we have a great deal of leadership and opportunity in the arts and the civic and the social justice and the municipal and the private and the public and the foundations, there's some sense of a siloing among all these groups. And as the Greenway becomes a connective space around the areas of downtown, we began to think, okay, well, how do we move people out of their silos to understand both in a physical geography across our downtown, north and south, east and west, to fill out, to form density, to create connectivity between different organizations that are operating, and to understand the role of the arts, but also of all the different communities that are present. So that's been our project, and that's been the excitement of our team, which is a very unusual group of people coming together at SCDA to really think through what are our strategies, what do we share in our agendas that make it possible for us to work together, to recognize the assets and capacities in our downtown, particularly in the arts, and to find tactics, both large scale and grassroots, that enable us to strengthen the holisticness of downtown. Our next steps as we come back from SCDA is to sit down as a team and really refine what our presentation was, and to understand more directly some of the strategies, and then to really build the resource team necessary to understand the tactics that are going to go and accomplish that, and to more closely understand what the assets are, what the cultural organizations are, where they exist in our geography, and how they relate to public and private development that's happening around, so that we can have a more integrated connectivity among all these sites. SCDA provided a brainstorming opportunity in the midst of a very vague but exciting opportunity, which is through the North Carolina SMART initiative, which was a collaboration between Elsewhere and the Arts Council, which is where Integral Cities initially emerged. So we come back to $30,000 to build a resource team to ask these questions, and SCDA was the perfect opportunity for us to broaden our circle a little bit beyond Elsewhere as a grassroots arts organization, and the United Arts Council is one of its major funders and also one of the big umbrella arts organizations in the city, to broaden that team to community advocates and downtown development infrastructure. And again, the key being economic development. SCDA became kind of the perfect opportunity to pull together a team, recognize where we are, and then take the next steps necessary to actually put the money to good use that we have that will move us into the next step. The step beyond that is there's what we call the $1 Million Club in Greensboro. It's a special grant through the Commerce Department and the federal government, and this will be, I think, an opportunity, whether or not we were to actually get it, but to actually think as a team, what would we do next? How would we dream even bigger? What would be the big, larger projects that we would produce? And so there's the opportunity to apply some funds that exist, the opportunity to dream bigger and go after some funds that are out there.